Hello and welcome to the Game Boys. My name is Joe and today we are going to talk about God of War. God of War is hands down one of the best action-adventure games of this generation. With outstanding graphics, mesmerising story and hard-hitting combat, the team at Santa Monica, led by Director Cory Barlog, have made what many have called a masterpiece. During our adventures through the Norce realms, we noticed a few things that left us with some questions once the game was over. So here are 5 questions left unanswered in God of War 2018. By the way, spoiler warning for those of you who haven't finished the game, obviously. Number 1. Who blew the Serpents Horn? When Atreus falls ill from his first experience of Spartan rage after witnessing Thor's son Modi attacking his father Kratos, it begins one of the most dark sections of the game, with all the focus being put on getting Atreus back to Freya so she can heal him. As Kratos is cradling his dying son on the elevator to Freya's house, we hear the Serpents Horn being blown.
Somebody just called the Serpent.
Whilst Kratos doesn't give it a second thought as he's a little bit busy with travelling to Helheim to help save Atreus, it feels like this will be addressed later in the story. But at the end of the game, the identity of the Hornblower is left unknown. We are sure this will be answered in a future instalment of this new God of War series, but who do you think it could have been? Please leave a comment below on who you think might have called the World Serpent. Number 2. What does the protection symbol being rubbed off mean? After helping save Freya's boar right after you, well, shot it.
Accuracy over speed. Yes!
Freya offers you thanks in the way of drawing a protection symbol on both Kratos and Atreus' neck. Freya explains,
"You want solitude? This mark will hide you from those who might make your journey difficult."
Freya seems to mark you with the Helm of Or while saying Lena, which in Old Norse means to hide or conceal. Now this is all well and good until later, whilst in Tyr's temple, this magical symbol is rubbed off by a branch wrapping around Kratos' neck after falling into the water trap. Whilst Atreus works out the puzzle and saves you from a watery grave, this still leaves Kratos without the protection spell. This is not explained upon further in the narrative as far as we can see. So what does this mean? Does this allow someone from his past to now find him, or maybe even future? Number 3. How did Faye die? In the very first moments of the game, we learn that Kratos' wife Faye has died, but we are never told what happened to her. It is clear she has died recently given the game's funeral pyre opening. It also appears she has died naturally given that Kratos isn't blaming anyone. Later in the game, Mimir even comments that giants don't really die of old age, so what killed her? Another odd thing surrounding her death is that she marked the trees to be used for her pyre, strongly suggesting she was alive at the time and aware she was dying. The marked trees then break the spell that was hiding her and her family, allowing Odin to find them and send Baldur in to cause problems. Later, we discover Kratos didn't know she was a giant, so it's possible Faye didn't know that he was a god. But she must have realised Atreus was at risk from Odin and his giant hunting ways. Number 4. Atreus' voices. Throughout the game, Atreus will seemingly hear voices only heard by him. Whilst on some occasions the voices have a legitimate source, such as the soul of a dwarf inside a ring, or talking to a giant turtle named Charlie. On other occasions, however, he will hear disembodied voices, which even in one instance cause him physical pain. Lots of these cases of hearing voices are never expanded upon in the game. Is Atreus hearing voices of the past, or maybe of the future and the forthcoming Ragnarok? Do you have any ideas as to what the source of the voices could be? Please leave a comment below. Number 5. Who is Tyr? Throughout the game, the Norse god of war Tyr is continually referenced but never seen. We learn on our journey that Tyr was a beloved deity who tried to keep the peace between all realms and also travelled around the ancient world, learning of far off different cultures. When Kratos and Atreus descend into Tyr's vault, we see images showing that he has visited Mayan, Egyptian and Chinese cultures. Now bear with us, but we think Kratos is also Tyr. The mention of Fimbulwinter and the secret ending where Thor appears back at the house suggest Ragnarok is coming. One thing that we are also told is that the World Serpent is actually from the future. Mimir tells us that when the World Serpent and Thor fight during Ragnarok, the World Serpent was hit so hard he travels back in time. Our theory is that Kratos is dragged into Ragnarok, and like the World Serpent, thrown back in time by the force of the Cataclysm, wandering the Earth through the ages until he eventually becomes the wise and peaceful Tyr. And whilst Tyr never appears in the game, we know he was a friend of the giants, which would make sense if both your wife and son were giants. He was also wise, calm, and a good man, everything Kratos is aspiring to be. It's also convenient that Tyr's shrine has a secret message that can only be read by Mimir. It's almost as if Tyr knew he would be reading it in the future. So, those are the 5 big questions we have coming out of this fantastic game. But what do you think? Do you have any questions of your own? Or do you think you have the answers? Please leave a comment below. If you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell so you will be notified every time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.